Welcome back to the whole home. I am here with my daughter's bank card, which I have stolen from her because we're going to talk about sustainable and ethical bank accounts for kids and bringing them into this lower footprint journey with us. It took me a really long time to sign them up because I thought it was going to be overwhelming. And I am not good at doing things that I think are overwhelming. So we're going to talk through why this mattered to me, what the different factors were, what we chose, how to sign up, the benefits of it, some of the features that we love, and in general, just bringing our kids into this process of creating a lower footprint life and why a bank account is one of the ways I love to do it. If you are new here, welcome. I am Kezia, and my goal on the internet is to make lower footprint, sustainable living feel less complicated and more budget friendly, because I know I don't do things when they feel complicated, and so I want to simplify things where we can along this journey. And I think more and more about how we bring our kids into the lower footprint life and our journey in building one. My kids are 9, 7, and 3, and even in the 9 years that we have been walking this journey with them, it looks really different at different ages. A 3-year-old, way easier to bring into the journey. And then as they get older, it starts to look different. And in general, I don't mind my kids knowing that sometimes it's not super fun to be sustainable and ethical in our choices. We want to teach our kids to take care of people and to take care of our planet in the way that they make their choices. And the truth of that is, sometimes it means saying no, and sometimes it's not fun, even for me as an adult who cares about this. So I actually think it's an important point for them to learn that sometimes it isn't fun, and what we do with the emotional side of that journey, that we want to care about people. We want to make sustainable and ethical choices, but sometimes maybe that's not the most fun option. And then figuring out how we deal with those very real emotions that adults experience too. So I don't need to make their life feel like their peers' lives. But I love when teaching them and bringing them in on this journey and showing them the impact of our actions and how we can do things better. I love when it doesn't feel like saying no to something or doing something that's different to their peers. And a great bank account is one of them. If the idea of an ethical and sustainable bank account is new to you, you might be asking, what does that even mean? And a bank's ethics and sustainability is much broader than just whether it's a recycled plastic card like this one and whether you check the little paperless billing tab to get non-paper billing and save some trees. The way banks use their money is really the core of what makes them sustainable and ethical or not. The money that banks hold is used to fund many different industries. Some of those we don't want to be involved in. And so some of the ones that really matter to us are that we bank with banks that do not fund fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are detrimental in so many ways. We won't go into that. But we have our home on non-fossil fuel energy, and we want our money in banks that are not investing money in fossil fuels. That is one. The other one is arms, weapons. We, like fossil fuels, look around the world and see the negative impact of that industry. Arms, weapons too, exactly the same thing. No matter where they are going, it is a value in our home that we are not banking with a bank that is funding that industry. And on both of those, we bring our kids into understanding that reality. There are a few different banks here that do make that commitment. For us, the most easy to use, user-friendly one was Monzo. We did also open an account with Triodos. They do not have kids accounts, and we found their adult accounts, the whole interface was a little less easy to use. So we picked Monzo for ourselves. We have been using it for 6 years. We love it. 0 complaints. We really love Monzo, and their commitment to not fueling those different industries is really important. So this is what we mean by sustainable and ethical, is what is the money that these banks hold doing, and what do we want to be a part of in terms of where we put our money. But when it comes to kids, the options are far fewer. Triodos used to do a kids bank account. They are no longer receiving applications for kids bank accounts. And the easiest one for us to find and use was Monzo. And so that is what we chose for our kids. They only introduced this account in the second half of 2024. And as soon as they opened them, we dived in and got them for our kids. There is no cost for opening an account. You don't pay for the card. You don't pay to open the account. There are no fees, which is amazing too. It's a very low risk thing to do. I will go on and talk about some of the things that we have come to really love about this account. But if you want to set up a Monzo account for a child, a couple of things. You are going to need to be the parent or legal guardian of that child. You are also going to need to have a Monzo account yourself. If you don't have one, you can set one up just to then do the kids' accounts. There is the money back link below that you can use. And if you don't have an ethical bank account, this would be a great moment to switch yourself to. The child is also going to need to be between 6 and 15. If they're above 15, they can get a different account. They won't need this kids account. That is what you're going to need. Beyond that, to set up a kids account, you don't need to go into a branch. You don't even need ID. You just need to be able to verify that you are who you say you are, that they are the age they need to be. And then the sign up is so easy. If, like me, you have thought this would be a complicated thing, it took 5 minutes. You're going to scroll down to where it says set up a 6 to 15 year account and click on that within your own Monzo account. Legally, the money will still be yours, but it doesn't sit in your account. So as I log in, it never looks like it's my money. It's not confusing. It looks like it is fully the child's money, but legally it is mine. So we set it up from my account. So we're then going to click on that and put in a little bit of information about the child, and then you're going to say what you prefer to be called by them, what they call you. This is going to show up if you pay them. They will see it coming from whatever name you put in. And when they try to log in, there is great security and it will ask them, did Mum, Kezia, whatever name you put in there, tell you to log in? Or was it someone else? Or there's a few questions they ask where your name is used. So that's where this name will crop up. Then they're going to verify that you are you because legally the money's yours. You're the one doing this. So they're going to do a little verification. And then the fun part, you or the kid, my kids chose, get to choose the color of their card. And the card I have stolen today is the bright pink one, but you've got pink, yellow, or blue. And that will arrive within a few days to whatever address you put in. And then you are set up and ready to go. It is so simple. There are a lot of features that are unique to the card, which we have loved so far. So right away, the first thing I did was set up pocket money. We have done pocket money so far with coins, and I do not enjoy that process because I don't keep coins on me, but we wanted the kids to kind of see the money each week, and then they would lose a coin, and it felt very messy. So we now have it set up, and the Monzo account has a specific pocket money function. So you can choose how much and how often, and it will go into the kids account labeled as pocket money. It goes out from your account as pocket money, and it is all automated and done, but they can see each one come in. Love that feature. Then within their account, they can either see it on your phone, which is what we do. Our kids don't have any devices, but they can see it on your phone and they just click the color card that is theirs on my home app screen, and then they can see the different transactions, what money is there, and then they can take their card and use it in shops, online, or to pull cash, depending on what parental controls you set, which we'll talk about later. If your kid does have a device, there is a slightly different looking app for them. It's the same app that you will download from the App Store on their device, but then you have a QR code so that they log in a way where they can only see their account, which is great. And as my kids get older, maybe we will do that. We have a family iPad, they may use that or something like that. But they can then see exactly what's going on without the rest of my accounts being present. They can see the app and keep control of their spending and things like that. In terms of parental controls, there is a lot of different ways that you can tailor the way that they use their card and their account, which I love. And we will definitely change this as they get older, I would expect. So there are certain categories of spending that are just 100% always locked by Monzo from a kid's account. They cannot spend money in pubs, bars, and off licenses. They can't spend money on gambling sites, tobacco and vape shops. There are lots of things that rightly they just cannot spend on before they are 16. So that is all fully limited by the card. Then you can set up a daily spending limit. So if you just want to limit, for different reasons, the amount per day that they can spend, you can toggle the bar and just change how much that is, and you can change that as often as you like. And then you can control whether they can use the card for contactless payments and whether they can use the card numbers that it has online. So you can really, it can be just for when they're out and about, but they can't buy things at home on a device. Or it can be so they can't spend it out and about, or they can, but it's a £5 limit, or a limit that you change for the day depending on what they're doing. So great parental controls for different phases of life, which I love. One of the other things that we use all the time that is also available in the kids' version of the app is pots. Monzo pots are like buckets or envelopes that you can use to break down the money in your main account. We use these and love these for everything. So at the beginning of the month, money will drop into a food pot, a kids clubs pot, a mortgage pot, all these different things, so that our income is divvied up and waiting for us when we need it for certain things. We love it. I have a whole video on that if you want to look below. There's a whole video on how we use pots effectively to budget. It's free to use. It's brilliant. We love it. Kids have access to these pots too, which I love. So within their account, you can set up pots differently however you want them. And then they can put money in manually. Maybe they get some money in and they want to put them manually in pots. They can pop them in there, or you can have a regular amount go into the pot. So I know a number of parents do a spend, a save, and a give structure for money that comes in. You could have a spend, a save, and a give pot, or you could use the main account as the spend pot and then have a save and a give pot, so that whenever money comes in, they're popping in a little bit to save, a little bit to give, or however you want to do it. Those pots can then be accessed whenever they want, but they just help us as adults and the kids see their money in different ways. Or it might help them to move towards a saving goal that you say, this pot is for, we're saving for a new pair of shoes or a secondhand pair of shoes. And you know how much they're trying to save, and then you can put a savings goal on the pot so they can see what they're working towards. And then you could talk about however much of pocket money or an allowance comes in and automatically sending a certain amount of that into different pots. So they're beginning to be savvy and think about how they are saving their money. Something else you might want to do with a pot is, say they get birthday money and they have cash come in. They can pay that money in, but have it set up in a birthday money pot so that it's not just in the mix with the other money that they know that that's gifted money. Maybe they're going to use it for something different. Now, in terms of paying cash in, Monzo doesn't have high street branches, so you can't go into a high street branch and pay money in the way you would for another bank. But at any post office or pay point, you can take cash and pay it in. So you will just look for that pay point symbol or go to a post office, and then you can pay the cash into their account. And then if it was birthday money or they're saving for something and they want to move it into a certain pot, you can just do that with a really quick tap of a few buttons. And so their money is staying organized, and we're teaching our kids to be organized with the way that they are earning, being given pocket money, allowance, and the way that they're saving, and then what they're doing with their money, all within the context of an ethical and sustainable bank. I really wanted to give some cons to make this a balanced video, because we have loved Monzo personally for ourselves and for the last 6 years, and for our kids since Monzo opened the kids accounts. There really have been no downsides, but I wanted to be honest and try and find some cons to give the full picture. I think you cannot access it on a desktop, and so that's never been a downside for us, but maybe it would be for kids if they don't have a device, that they do need a device to view their account. And if they want to see the account without seeing the rest of your bank information, they will need a different device, or to log out of your account and log into their account on your phone. We have had no problem doing it on our phone. We just pull up the app and tap onto their card, and then all they see on the screen is their own account and their card, but that maybe would be a con. The only other con that I would say with Monzo is that I don't think their savings accounts hold the same ethics as their regular everyday current accounts. Some of the places they are saving do not hold the same ethical standard. And so if you're wanting to open savings accounts, which aren't available for kids anyway, but for adults, that could maybe be a con that I would probably do that through Triodos to maintain those same ethics that Monzo don't quite hold in the savings side. Maybe another con could potentially be that you do have to hold an account as a parent. However, I always have access to their account. We can look through it together. At this point, that only feels like a win to us. In general, such a win, both from talking to our kids about lower footprint living and bringing up some of those conversations and beginning to teach them about where our money lives and how that has an impact on other people, and provide great solutions through to just the actual everyday use of money and teaching them about budgeting and managing their money and things like that. It has felt like such a win. So I can only give it a 10 out of 10 recommend. If you're in the UK and have access to these, I highly recommend it. And if you don't have an adult account, remember that you can get the cash back with that refer a friend link. And if you don't have a Monzo account or an ethical bank account at all, this would be a really great move to make for yourself. If you want to keep watching and see how we use Monzo pots as us adults to budget the entirety of our life for free in a system that is the first system I have truly loved for budgeting, you can see that video. I will put that here. I find it so helpful. And again, it is free and brilliant. Can't recommend it enough. And of course, you can hit subscribe to follow along on the journey of low footprint living in a way that's less complicated and more budget friendly. And I will see you in another video sometime soon. But jump on and open an account if it's something you have been meaning to do. I truly don't think you will regret it.